And if you're somebody that's going through a rough time right now, maybe in life, and you kind of need something in your life to get you out of a funk or get your mind off of something that is just weighing you down, beekeeping might be that. Beekeeping might allow you to put a bee suit on, grab a hive tool and a smoker, and get into beekeeping and get your mind into something that's more comforting and more enjoyable than what you're stuck thinking about now. This is a rare day here in central Illinois. We've gotten temperatures almost 60 degrees, so I'm going to take a look at this hive right here with you guys. This is a crazy hive. I can't believe it's still alive. Look at that. I have yet to wrap it, and I have been amazed that they're hanging in there. Looks like, I mean, they're not very strong. They weren't strong going into winter. So we're just going to pop the lid off, take a look at it. And this is an example, I think, sometimes if you take a hive like this that's kind of small. I just grabbed a super off of a large colony because it had what I thought was a failing queen in it. And if you remember in past videos, we just stuck it over here. I was going to do something with it in the late summer and fall, and I just got busy and left it right here like this. And it still seems to be doing stuff. So we're going to take a look inside and see what's going on today. And thanks for joining me, guys. Good to be in the hive. All my hives are really doing good today. Look at this. They're going out. I've got some sugar water for them out in the fields. I've got some pollen substitute that is awesome. I've got them eating a lot of pollen. Now, one interesting thing I found out today is that even though I've got a lot of good sugar water out there, they would rather go for the protein in that pollen powder substitute. They're really liking that a lot. And so right now the bees really need some protein. That's why a lot of times you see bees actually in sawdust or dog food. You know how dog food has little particles that are small enough for bees to get, kind of the dust of dog food, dust of cat food. Even the dust of bird seeds, sometimes the bees are able to get that small amount of dust, and actually that's protein for the bees. I can't get away from this smoke. Beauty attracts smoke, doesn't it? Wow. So I just use a little bit of paper to start my smoker, and then stuff some of this great burlap. This burlap really has worked so well for me. If you watch some of my older videos, I used to save all my old blue jeans that get holes in them, and I would burn 100% cotton, and that really makes good smoke. But right now I'm using burlap that's food grade burlap, and as you can see, wow, that makes really good smoke. Now, all of you that are starting beekeeping this year, you're going to probably be frustrated getting your smoker going and keeping it going. That's one of the things that's very challenging for new beekeepers. But we're not going to need a lot of smoke today. Just smoke them enough to look inside of here. About a month ago, I think, I made a video where I opened it up and we found them alive. And they were eating a winter bee kind. And they stung me right on the face. I didn't have a hat or a veil on or anything. So today I'm going to go a little bit better prepared. Sometimes we think bees in the winter time like this, it's winter for me, middle of the winter, but it's just a warm day. And we think that bees won't be very defensive or aggressive. And so sometimes we make the mistake of not wearing enough protective gear, and we go out there and we open up a lid or something, change out a candy board, and boy, the bees light us up. So don't ever think just because it's not in the middle of a bee season that the bees are all nice and calm in there. That's probably not the case. So what do I expect to see in here? Not a lot of activity going in and out, a little bit. I saw them carrying in some protein powder substitute, pollen substitute. I saw them carrying it in here. And so they've gotten a lot smaller, and they were very small to begin with. And I want to tell you guys why I think this hive has made it this far. I don't know if they're going to make it the rest of the winter. Now, this is central Illinois. We've had some brutal cold weather. We've had 2 events that were just awful. I mean, 20 below zero chill factor. No, wait a minute. I had 32 below wind chill factor one night when that cold snap hit. Now, they are protected a little bit from the wind if the wind's out of the north, but you can see, didn't wrap them, and they just been on their own. So let's go ahead and take a look, see what it is. I'm expecting it to be a very small group of bees. Maybe they're clustered a little bit. It's probably getting a little bit below 60 now. So I'm not going to raise up any frames unless I think I want to get a little bit more inside the hive where I can lift up some frames that don't have brood on it. Should never open a hive up unless the temperatures are about 65 degrees. That's really a safer temperature to open hives up. But not windy, pretty sunny, not bad. So let's just go ahead and see what it looks like. Always want to smoke. Let that smoke settle under the top cover like this. Calms the bees down because they can't communicate as well by pheromones that are received on the antenna. And so they just kind of calm down when we do this. No, I forgot. I smoked my winter bee kind. That didn't do any good, did it? All right, let's smoke them again. This winter bee kind probably has been all but consumed. I don't think there'll be much left on it. I hear a little bit of noise. Ooh, it's no candy on here. All right, they are still alive and they are ready for some more food. Look at that. They have cleaned that winter bee kind off. This is about 4 pounds of different kind of proteins and sugar and vitamins, minerals that are on there. They do have some that are around the edges here, but there are the bees. And actually, amazingly enough, these bees are larger now than I think they were when I started with them. So they've been raising a little brood all winter long, like they do when they eat this winter bee kind. So let me get a camera closer so you can see what it looks like. Now what we can do is move some of this candy a little bit closer, if we can loosen it up a little bit closer over the top of the cluster instead of on the outside like this. Because they are so small, they may be having difficulty actually getting to these pieces out here on the edge. There could be some bees under there, but let's go ahead and scoot it over. Careful not to kill any bees. Oh yeah, that's good right there. Look at that. There's some bees right here. So if you look at it, the cluster looks like it's from right here around this way. Now you may be wondering, how could a hive this small and such a small, medium-sized super withstand such brutally cold temperatures that we've had here in central Illinois? I mean, larger colonies you can expect. They're huge, they're gigantic, they have a lot of heat that they can make with that number of bees. So the reason that I feel that bees like this do well is mainly because of the tight quarters that they're living in. Because in larger, if you have let's say you have two boxes, 2 deeps that bees are living in, you got a super on top of that, and the numbers dwindle down, then you have maybe a smaller group of bees in a large configuration, 2 deeps and a super. Here we have this small group of bees in a tighter quarter. That means that when it gets cold, they form a tight cluster. Their heat is staying really close to them. It's not rising up into the box above them, into the next box above them. So sometimes we can make a mistake by overwintering our colonies in too large of a configuration. And that's what I've found. If I can keep my bees in, maybe like this hive here has 2 deeps on it, and it does not have a super, and I'm having to feed them the winter bee kinds, they're doing really well. Their top deep was mostly all honey going into winter, so that's good. Hive over here, it is 2 deeps and a honey super, and so they have a little bit more space. And I've always found configurations like 2 deeps and a super oftentimes don't do as well as just going through winter with 2 deeps. That's central Illinois. So wherever you're at, you can kind of think about that. Here's one over here doing really well. It's got a deep and a super. So I've just kind of been experimenting with what are the different configurations. So it's hard to match up the size of the colony to the size of the hive. You know what I mean? You never know what size the colony is going to be in the middle of winter. They could grow if you feed them like we're feeding this one. They appear to be getting bigger. If they're not being fed, if you're not feeding them, they dwindle down, like I explained in a recent video where I showed you my graph, how bees traditionally and historically have died down in the winter, back down to 10 to 20,000 bees coming out of winter, where I try to keep mine as strong as they can be, 60 to 80,000 bees in that colony growing by feeding them all winter long. So this has probably survived as well as it has so far because of a smaller box that they're in and the food that they're eating. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and put this winter bee kind back on because they do have enough sugar here right above that's quite a bit for them to enjoy. And I think they're going to do well. They're producing enough moisture to make this edible for them. And we'll just let this sit like here. This acts as an insulation because of the thickness of this winter bee kind board. So it's holding a little bit more heat in and preventing condensation from dripping back down on the bees. That's really good. So let's just let them coast like this for maybe another couple of weeks, and then I am going to have to bring another winter bee kind out here. But if you watch my past videos, whole video about this failing queen, we were talking about last summer, like, uh-oh, this queen appears to be failing. What are we going to do with this failing queen? Let's see if we move her over here in the super box and just see if she gets better or if she's failing. But as I looked at her going into fall, still not laying well at all. And I can't pull any of these frames out to take a look today because if she is laying well, I could pull a frame out and it might chill that brood. I don't want to do that. So I don't want to spoil whatever good activity is maybe coming around. But it's hard to tell. Sometimes you really don't know. Until you get a little bit warmer days, we can kind of do a full inspection. All right, guys, good takeaway points I want to make. Don't inspect the hive unless it's about 65 degrees Fahrenheit because you don't want to chill brood. If you pull frames of cat brood over, they need to be kept about almost 92 degrees in the incubation period of their being a pupa. So we don't want to chill that brood. It will die. Also, I don't want to pull frames up now because if I killed this queen, there's no way I can buy a queen in February. Nobody's going to sell me a queen. They can't ship them into Illinois. It's too cold. So I don't want to affect this colony's configuration, and I got to protect the safety of the queen. But just looked at it and saw that, wow, it's really impressive that something this small has made it through such harsh winter weather that we've had the last few months. I'm going to have a live stream on Thursday night at 7 p.m. coming up. If you're watching this about the time that it's released, I'm releasing this video on Tuesday. Got a couple of days for the live stream. So I hope you'll join my live stream. This will be my first time to do it. And I'm looking forward to building a greater community, being able to answer more of you guys' questions. It's important to me to make videos and incorporate more videos that helps you guys out. I want to help the beekeeping community. I want to inspire and encourage beekeepers. And so sometimes we just need a kick in the pants to get off of our blue funk. Whatever reason it was caused by, legitimate or just us thinking wrong, whatever. Sometimes we need a kick in the pants to say, gosh, I need a break. I need to do something different. I just need some hobbies in my life or something. Beekeeping can be one of those that really can help you guys out. And also, I want you to become a beekeeper if you're not keeping bees now. I really think it's a spiritual moment to some degree of being out with the bees and nature and just enjoying bees, fresh air, getting your mind off the busy schedule. And it's all I can say is spiritual. I mean, it's just a moment of meditation. It's one with nature. It's a breath of fresh air to a busy, hectic life that is grinding away at your mind sometimes. So be sure and consider using beekeeping as a way of not only helping bees, helping pollination, helping fruits and vegetables in your area, but helping yourself out. I'm working hard to help you, and if you'd be so kind to subscribe, I would really appreciate it. You'd be helping me out a lot too. Give me a thumbs up, because I want to work hard for you, and if I know you're watching and subscribing, it motivates me to make more videos and work harder if I know you're watching. So please subscribe. I just made a video about 7 fun facts about bees. All of you are enjoying these things that I'm telling you about bees. Some of you have really been surprised. I realize a lot of you probably know these facts, but I am really shocked by the number of you that have never heard of these true facts or these false facts that people say about bees. So check this video out right here, 7 fun facts about honeybees, and I'll see you over there.